Good evening to every one of you, wherever you are, either in Nigeria or in other parts of the African continent or any other part of the world. I welcome you to the International Masterful Speakers Masterclass, the February 2022 cohort. My name is David Lawal, often called the Masterful Speakers Coach, and this is the introductory session of the masterclass for February 2022. So, we want to welcome all of you. The first session is always free for everyone who has indicated interest in the masterclass or who belongs to my list or who is on my list. But the other sessions of the masterclass will definitely be premium content for those who have paid and have registered. So there will be practice exercises and many other things that we're going to be doing. So our trainers from UK, USA, Canada, South Africa, Switzerland, Ghana, Cameroon, and Nigeria, South Africa, several other countries are going to be coming to train us in the masterclass. For those of you who maybe have not totally registered, and just think about whatever you get today, it's gonna be so much value for you today, I can assure you. And feel free to ask any question that you have about speaking, about writing, about entrepreneurship, about anything at all. And I can assure you that you're gonna have a fantastic time. So I need you guys to be able to take a screenshot and let the people know in those groups where you belong to that we have started. So tell them we have started, okay? So that we can kick off the masterclass today. Let them know we have started. So, Mrs. Someone should help me take a screenshot and post it to the main WhatsApp chat room, the one with Masterful Speakers, February 2022. Let them know we have started. Okay, so today I want to first of all take comments from you guys. Let me get to meet you. That's the way we like to get this meeting started. So let us get to meet you. Tell us who you are, tell us where you're joining us from, and tell us why you want to develop yourself really as a masterful speaker. I would like to start with masterful speaker Ehinomen Akidwe. Ehinome Akidwe. You taught me that it's without the N. So Ehinome, you can unmute yourself and tell us about yourself.
All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. And while you're introducing yourself, let us see your face. That will be good. So as it comes to you, get ready. Let us see your face, at least for that moment. Okay?
All right, I can't on my camera now because I'm not in a good place or something. Um,
Okay.
I'm Einome Akidwe, and I am a medical laboratory scientist. I'm also a writer. Like I write, and I help young people in self-discovery and maximizing their potentials. And I actually signed up for this because I really want to learn how to be able to speak and influence people positively. So that's why I signed up.
Great. How did you get to know about the masterclass?
Okay, you came for one event, Innovate Summit. I attended Innovate Summit last year. So, and you talked, I attended because there was a breakout session. So I attended the breakout session and you talked about, I actually love the way you talked about public speaking. So I wanted to learn more from you.
Thank you. And it's been a great journey. I see the amazing work you're doing personally with your online radio. So I'm sure that you're going to get some new friends in this masterclass. We're going to be listening to your stories. Amazing job you're doing. So let us get to Mrs. Tolu Ashiro. Please unmute yourself and also take your camera and turn on your camera so that we can see you and so that you can tell us a bit about yourself and how you got to know about the masterclass and what your expectations are. Mrs. Tolu Ashiru. Okay, while Mrs. Tolu Ashiru is trying to get herself ready, let us go to Esther Ozokolo. Maybe Esther is going to teach me how to pronounce her surname. All right, Esther, over to you now. Unmute yourself, Ozokolo X Esther. Help me. I don't have it. Help me, Esther. The next person is Oluwatosin. Okay, Esther, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, my camera. I can't really turn the camera the other way around.
No worries. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay. Ozokolo Esther. I joined the Masterful speaker because okay, in my school, University of Abuja, I'm also in a public speaking club like that. So I saw the post from Joshua and I decided to join. So I'll become a masterful speaker to be able to speak more and boldly.
All right, great one. I'm hoping that you are really gonna get the reason you're here. So let us go over to Mrs. Tolu Ashiru. She's back. While we are gonna be getting ready to hear from Mr. Oluwatosin Abbas, Masterful Speaker Oluwatosin Abbas.
Good evening, Coach, and good evening,
Yeah, good
everyone.
evening.
I'm Ashiru Tulu Alope.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
please.
got this through my status. So yes, I want to be able to speak boldly in public. That was why I joined the program.
Awesome, awesome. So, what ultimately would you like to achieve when you finally are able to speak with boldness?
Pardon?
When you finally are able to speak with boldness, what would that do for you?
I have a lot of projects which I want to accomplish, and I knew that without being able to speak boldly, one may not be able to achieve anything.
Yeah, I get that. So, I'm sure that this masterclass is going to deliver on that promise. I am trusting God, and we're going to work together and hold each other's hands until we accomplish our goal. So together,
Thank you so much.
everybody accomplishes more, and when we hold each other's hands, we can do greater. So let me go over now to Oke Oluwaseun. Oke Oluwaseun, would you kindly share with us how how things are going with you? How did you get to know about the masterclass, and why are you interested in becoming a masterful public speaker? Unmute yourself and let us see your face.
So, good evening, everyone. Okay, my name is Oki Oluwaseun Paul, and I got to know about my Friendship Leadership Institute. I think from a friend's status, I saw it. It's been a while now, and I want to actually partake in it because I love speaking a lot. I love speaking. That's one of the things I love doing. So I want to learn the dynamics of how you can actually become a masterful speaker. That's why I'm here.
Awesome, awesome. So let's go to Adebayo Samuel. Adebayo Samuel. Atayo Flourish should get ready. Atayo Flourisher. It's like we can hear Adebayo Samuel. Let's go with Atayo Flourisher. Over to you. Okay, let's go
Yeah. Good
to.
evening, sir. Good
Okay,
evening,
good evening.
everyone.
Go ahead.
I got to know about the Masterful.
All right, let's go to Aitayo Flourish. It looks like Adebayo Samuel is having a lag over there. And then Mr. Nasiro, Masterful Speaker Nasiro Sona from Gambia should get ready. And Abdul Diba from Gambia should get ready. And then Baki Amzat. All right, let's go to, okay. Okay, good. So, Mr. Nasiro Sona, what's up? Let's hear from you.
Yes, thank you very much, Brother David.
Yeah,
It
what's
is an
up?
honor, a pleasure to be here. I'm good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity once again. I was very fortunate to attend one of the Masterful Public Speaking that was in 2019, if I could recall very well. It has been really amazing since I started joining this Masterful Speaking with David Lawat. Very inspirational for
Thank
my
you.
life, of motivation for me, and it has put a lot of motivation for me in the realm of speaking. And I have a high hope with this coaching and guidance. All of us here today, at the end of we must go out with something great that will be significant to our life. I'm so much grateful to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and we've got word from Abduli Diba. I can't pronounce the name very well, but he said, I'm from Gambia, the Gambia, a co-founder of the African Youth Entrepreneurship Academy. Nice to meet you, Diba. Now let's move to the next person on my list. We're actually gonna stop this very soon, and then we're gonna start teaching you about what it means to be a masterful speaker. I would like to hear from Alamin S. Sila. Then Baki Hamzat should get ready. Alamin, over to you. Faith Adebola after that. Alamin, over to you, please. Okay, let's go to Baki Hamzat. Baki Hamzat, unmute yourself. Let us see your face as well. Tell us about yourself. Tell us how you got to know about the masterclass, and tell us about what you are hoping to achieve.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Amza Bakukikola. I got to know about this from a friend status that I saw, and I'm here to learn everything possible to learn about being a masterful speaker, as it is said here as well. So I don't have much to say, and there's no power right here to show my face. So I will be glad, and I'm ready to put all my best effort to learn everything I could learn on here to be a very good person, to be able to communicate outside there. Thank you.
That's awesome. Now let's get to Faith Adebola. Faith. Hello, Faith. Do you know how to unmute yourself? Tap the screen, you'll see the microphone icon. Then you can tap it so that I'm sure you muted yourself, so you would know how to unmute yourself. All right, so let's get to Eyitayo Folorunsho. Eyitayo, unmute yourself and let's hear your voice. Okay, Masterful Speaker Oluwatosin Abbas, let's hear you.
Oluwatosin Abbas is here this evening. I believe you can
You're
hear me, sir.
loud and clear.
Yeah, wait. I saw the link. I said, let me join via the link. And I do want to share with my friend on my status. I said, let me join and see great minds here and hear you answer.
It's
Yeah,
a pleasure.
God
It's a pleasure. All right. So I'm not so I'm happy about hearing from you, but I'm not so happy that my laptop is not working very well at the moment. My WhatsApp on my laptop is not working, so I cannot respond to a lot of people who are messaging me at the moment in order to get in. Really, really, really. But no worries. We'll see how far we can go on this. So yeah, let's get started. So I want to get this guy started on what it means. Okay. I want to get started on what it means for you guys to be masterful speakers. Barry, you're welcome. Happy to connect with you. For those of you who are joining, this particular class today is free, but every other one after this is not going to be free. I just wanted you guys to know that. But let's enjoy the free session, and you guys make the maximum use of the free session. Very soon, someone else is going to come and show you guys how to get the best from a masterclass. But let me introduce you to the concept of what it means to be a masterful public speaker. First, I need to tell you that a masterful public speaker is one that aims to speak beyond confidence. So I want all of you to go to the chat section and type, I want to aim to speak beyond confidence. I know many of you have come here and you have said, okay, the reason I have signed up for this class, the reason I want to take this class is because I want to be confident. But you have no idea that as much as that's an amazing goal, that is a limiting goal. See, the proper way to kill your fear of speaking is not to target killing your fear of speaking. If you want to kill your fear of speaking, do not target killing your fear of speaking. Ozokolo Esther, thank you so much. That's amazing. I like the way you are interacting in the chat section. So we're going to be interacting that way in the chat section. Anytime I make something, I say something quite striking, you guys respond in the chat section so that I know that we are together. That's the only way I can get feedback from you guys, since I am not able to see your faces. Even Adebayo Sama, who has his camera on, the light over there is not so strong. But I'm sure that with your feedback, we can do quite a lot today. So I have said that in order for you to become a masterful speaker, you must aim to speak beyond confidence, because a masterful public speaker is one who speaks beyond confidence. So what does a masterful public speaker aim for rather than confidence? Four other things that make for effective communication, that make for mastery in expression. So a masterful public speaker aims beyond confidence, but aims for mastery in communication, because the masterful public speaker aims to have all the five essential ingredients of effective public speaking or effective writing or effective communication intact. Number one is confidence. Okay, yeah, confidence. That's the first thing. But a masterful speaker goes beyond confidence. A masterful speaker, I would say, is a confidence plus speaker. For those writers in the house, how would you write that? A masterful speaker is a confidence plus speaker. In other words, the masterful speaker really has confidence, but then has more than confidence, right? So, the first essential ingredient of effective communication is confidence. The second essential ingredient of effective communication is clarity. Clarity. The third is creativity. The fourth is consistency. And the fifth is credibility. Number one is, why did I call it? Confidence. Number two, why did I call it? Why did I call number two? I thought you guys were typing. Clarity. Number three, creativity. Number four, consistency. And number five, credibility. So I am going to touch upon each of those this evening. And then later on, yeah, Masterful Speaker, okay, Oluwaseun, that's amazing. And later on, I am going to show you guys some other things by the questions that you asked me. And that will lead me to say that in this masterclass, we put a lot of emphasis, we put a lot of significance on the questions you ask. This is not a masterclass where you just come to get lectures that are robust and that are rich, that are very helpful from experts without you getting your questions answered. In fact, your questions matter more than whatever we can give you in a lecture. I've always believed that if I'm giving a lecture, no matter how robust it is, I can only meet your needs 20%. I can only meet 20% of your needs because I'll be speaking from a general perspective of things. But do you know, if you could ask me your questions, what you would do is to put your hands upon me and squeeze me with your questions so that you get all my creative and strategic juices flowing so that I get, I give you 20% in the lecture, and when it gets to Q&A, I give you the other 80% of value. And that's why in this masterclass, we like to attach that importance to the questions that people ask. And I want to encourage you this evening to ask lots of questions, particularly the questions you've been seeking answers to. The more technical the question, the more excited I am because I love to help people solve the questions on their minds, the puzzles that are keeping them from achieving the things that they really want to achieve. So I will tell you about the 5 essential ingredients of being a masterful public speaker, or the 5 essential ingredients of effective communication. But then later on, after I'm done with that, I'll quickly tell you the 3 tenets of masterful public speaking. If you've ever been in a place where I've gone to deliver a talk, you must have heard some of these things, but I'm going to go even in depth in today's class. I'm going to go in depth into today's class. So the first essential ingredient of effective public speaking or effective communication, before we even start talking about the 3 tenets of masterful public speaking or masterful speakers, the first essential ingredient of effective communication is what I told you: confidence. And I've told you earlier than now that in order for you to gain confidence, you should stop aiming at killing your fear of speaking. The reason you're afraid of speaking is not because you don't have confidence. Okay? It's just natural. Anyone is afraid of speaking. At the moment, I am really afraid. In fact, it was Mark Twain who said, when it comes to speaking, there are only 2 kinds of people. We have the nervous and we have the liars. So if you say that you are not nervous, then you really are telling us that you're a liar. But if you admit the fact that anytime you approach people to talk to them, whether it's a screen, whether it's before a camera or on a stage, you feel the fear. If you are willing to admit that, then you are being honest about it. So when it comes to public speaking, there are only two kinds of people. We have the nervous and we have the liars. So I want to ask you, which category do you belong to? So that's just a way to say that if you feel nervousness anytime you want to speak, that is totally okay. It is very normal. It is expected that you feel that nervousness. And that is the first key to overcoming your fear of speaking, honestly. So, yeah, thank you, Mrs. Tolu. So, if you are feeling that nervousness, then you are being honest. You are being honest about it. And the reason we feel nervousness, several reasons actually, but it's just the very fact that we maybe are not sure of ourselves. Maybe we are not seeing value in ourselves, or we are not seeing value in what we've got to tell people. We don't know if the people who are listening to us will find us valuable, or will find what we've got to say valuable enough. So today I want to say this. In order for you to be able to gain confidence, you need to find value in at least two things. You need to find value in yourself. You need to understand that the very fact that you are different from people and that you have a different experience from them makes you very valuable. Trust me, you have a story that is not like the story of other people. You've met people, you've read books, you've maybe not even read books, and for that reason, you can talk to somebody about what it feels like to not have read books. So in that case, you are valuable, I can assure you. But then if you want to, you can always step up your value, but see value in whichever state you are in at the moment and be willing to scale up to greater heights of value. Okay, now you need to see value in yourself. Wherever you are, at whatever state you find yourself in life, there is value there. Now you have to then move on to find value in what you share with people. And that's why you have to be very careful and carefully do thinking about the question, what is my core message? What message do I have for the world? What problems and challenges am I so very concerned about? What solution am I seeking to provide to the world? That would be your message. And I promise you, if you find that message and you find it very precious, then whenever you stand before people, it will no longer be a challenge that whether you are afraid or not, it will no longer be a challenge for you to express what you've got to express to them. So I just wanted to give that as an introduction to the idea of confidence. But in order for you to gain confidence, there are at least three things to do. You know, I've told you that a proper way to kill your fear of speaking is not to target killing your fear of speaking, or the proper way to get confidence in public speaking is not to chase after confidence. Then the natural question is, coach, what then is the natural way to gain confidence in public speaking? Esther, we're sorry about that. Sorry about that. I wish you can find a place to charge your phone. Okay, so the natural question is, what then is the way to gain confidence in speaking? What then is the way to deal with my fear of speaking? Because I know that my fear of speaking is actually stopping me. And just before I go to share three things that I want you to start doing in order for you to kill your fear of speaking, okay, or your fear at anything at all, I want to say this. I want to say this. The reason I said that the proper way to kill your fear of speaking is not by targeting killing your fear of speaking. I've said that over and over again. I thought somebody was going to be typing it in the comment section because that's something very key. If you forget anything I've said so far today, do not forget the very fact that the proper way of killing your fear of speaking is not to target killing your fear of speaking. So why did I say that? The reason I said that is because if you keep waiting for the day that your fear of speaking is going to die, you will never speak a single day in your life. And the way to kill your fear of speaking is really by speaking. But then you say, coach, really? I need some confidence in order for me to at least get before the people, first of all. And I'm like, okay, stop thinking about that. And that will lead me to the three things I wanted to start thinking about and to start striving for. Number one, start thinking about gathering, organizing, and spreading knowledge. Gathering, organizing, and spreading knowledge. So, what's the first key to unlocking confidence? Gathering, organizing, and spreading knowledge. So, that's like a tripod, a triad of a point, right? So, you need to stand knowledge upon these three legs, so to speak, on this tripod of practice. You must gather, organize, and then spread knowledge. Now you wonder, there are a lot of people who are reading books, who are attending master classes, who are doing a lot of things. Why are they still not really confident as speakers? Why don't they express themselves with super confidence? Why are they still afraid of getting before an audience? Or why are they comfortable with a particular audience but are so scared of another audience? Let me tell you, I've got to a point in my life where I'm not really scared of any audience. In fact, if you take me to the UN, I'll be so confident to express myself right there. But I will shock you. Many of you would not believe that. So let me ask all of you on the call, go to the chat section. If you believe that I'm an introvert, type I believe. If you don't believe, type I don't believe. Okay? I'm waiting. If you believe that I'm an introvert, type I believe. If you don't believe, type I don't believe. I'm waiting. Let me see. Let me see those who believe that I'm an introvert. I'm waiting. I am waiting. Oh, introvert is number one saying she doesn't believe I'm an introvert. Faith believes. Vaki doesn't believe. I need 3 more comments for me to get moving. Vaki doesn't believe. Faith believes. Ainome doesn't believe. Okay, I'm waiting. Ha ha ha. Mrs. Tolu said she doesn't believe. Okay, Barry believes. Wells, Wells, one final comment and then we'll move. Oh, yes. We are good. Like 3 people believe, 3 people do not believe. I wish I had the time. I would like to quiz the people who say that. Okay, let me just pick one out of each of those groups, you know. Okay, the first person to unmute themselves, the first person to unmute him or herself should speak. Why don't you believe? Why don't you believe? The first person to unmute his or mic should speak. Why don't you believe I'm an introvert? I don't think this is a good strategy. Maybe I should just mention someone's name. Barry, I would like to hear your voice. Okay, wait. Go ahead, Mrs. Tulu.
Why I don't believe that you are an introvert is because the way you speak. An introvert will not be able to speak boldly. They'll keep things to themselves.
Okay, good. Now, I will shock you. Introverts make the greatest speakers in the world. Ha, ha, ha. The most insightful, the most inspiring speakers in the world are introverts. Ha, ha. Okay, so no problem. I got that. So, Adebayo Samuel, why do you believe rather that I'm an introvert? Why do you believe? Meanwhile, if you're enjoying the masterclass, let me get feedback. How are you feeling about the masterclass? How is it going for you? Adebayo Samuel, are you going to say something? Always going to say something about them believing. Is Barry going to say something about him believing? Okay, who is going to say something about them believing? Go ahead, please. Barry, I can see you're on. Go ahead. Looks like there is a lag. Who is gonna say something?
Yeah,
Good evening.
Okay, okay. Let Barry speak, and then I'll get back to Baki.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah. Good
Okay.
evening.
I believe you're an introvert because you're making good conferences
Yes, I what?
and you are quiet. You are making
Yes.
good conferences and you are quiet.
Okay.
So you
Really?
only speak what is on what is important.
Okay. Barry. Barry's evidence is that I'm focusing on what is important. That's interesting, Barry. That's quite interesting. Okay, so Baki was going to say something. Baki, why do you think I'm an introvert? Why do you believe? Mrs. Stelo, I'm feeling your vibes in the chat. So that's wonderful. Baki, why do you believe that I'm an introvert?
yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
The major particular thing is I don't believe because I can see the way you speak right now is like is very professional, and I can as well say I do believe, and because I'm not that closer to you, and I don't know you for a long period of time. I'm just getting to know you, so I can still believe that though.
Okay. So you're an agnostic in this matter. Eitaya said, perhaps I used to be an introvert. I guess so. I think I'm not as introverted as I used to be back in the day when I would not speak to anybody. I wish I had the time. I would have told you guys a story, but no time. I would have told you guys a story about how introverted I was, but no time. Maybe later on in the masterclass, I would tell that story, but no problem. Let's keep moving. So the point I was making is that you need to be gathering knowledge, organizing knowledge, and spreading knowledge. So knowledge, you need to stand knowledge upon this tripod of a stand. Let's put it that way. Upon this tripod of practice, uh, of um, of gathering knowledge, organizing and spreading knowledge. So I was asking the question: have you ever wondered why people will watch videos, will listen to audio messages or audio talks, will listen to a podcast, will attend master classes, will read a lot of books, why they are still not confident in speaking to other people? Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. That's a persona. Come on, you're doing well. So I'm gonna get to that. Definitely, I'm gonna answer that question. Okay, so I think I should just answer it on the confidence before I end it. So here is it. In order for you to be able to really gain confidence, the first thing is to gather, organize, and spread knowledge. So gathering knowledge is you doing all of those things I just mentioned: reading books, listening to podcasts, attending master classes, watching videos, meeting people, attending conferences, physical conferences, getting yourself a mentor and stuff like that. So that's you gathering knowledge, listening to wise people, listening to wise words, and just really chasing after wisdom, after knowledge. You get a point. Yeah, Adebayo Sama, that was right. I'm even going to get to that. So that's gathering knowledge, and that's not sufficient, I can assure you, because that's just information. You have a lot of information in your mind. Your mind is so filled up, but you cannot express it. How many of you have ever felt that frustration that I can't understand why I never can show the feelings deep inside me? Why I can't express the things that are deeply buried inside of me? I have so much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much thought, but I cannot really express those things inside of me, and you're so frustrated. You get in front of a group of people and you have so much, you've prepared so much, you've read so much, you've listened to so much, but you cannot even stand for 5 minutes to hold the attention of an audience. The simple reason is because all you've been doing is you've been gathering knowledge. You've not been organizing knowledge. Now, organizing knowledge is actually getting into your life and into the life of other people and trying to align whatever information you are getting with a particular difficult situation in your life or in the life of somebody else around you. So, in that case, what you are going to be doing actually is for you to take the knowledge and apply it and compartmentalize it into several areas of your life and use that information or those pieces of information to drive a process of transformation in your life and in the life of the people around you. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to tell you, get out of your cocoon or of the ivory tower rather, of gathering knowledge, of reading books, of listening to podcasts, of just being alone. From behind the decks is not a good place to change the world. Yeah, it's good as a writer to be behind the desk, to be at one corner that is very silent in the midst of an abundance of solitude in order to reflect on the difficult issues that people are facing. But you've got to also reach people and talk to them and meet them and actually get to know them and listen to their story and stuff like that in order for you to be able to effectively help people with your writing and your speaking. So you have to gather the knowledge, but not only that, you have to compartmentalize the knowledge, which I call gathering, organizing, which I call organizing the knowledge. Get into your own life, look into your own life, turn the information, the searchlight of that information into your own life, and use it to dispel the darkness of ignorance or the darkness of incapability or the darkness of inadequacy from your life. Use the searchlight of knowledge to dispel all the darkness in your life and in the life of all the people around you. Now, gathering knowledge, organizing knowledge, and then the third thing is spreading the knowledge. Spreading the knowledge. Now, see, in order for you to gain confidence, some of you might find this very funny, but you have to actually create a community of people where you will be sharing the knowledge that you're gaining. You have to create that community. You have to get into a community of people. No, don't get into a community. Get into a community is beautiful, but you see, I'm training you guys to be more than confident. I'm training you guys to be masterful. In order for you to be masterful, you have to create a community of people. Create. I did not say get into. Getting into is wonderful. It has its benefit. But if you really want to be a masterful speaker, you have to create a community of people really that you are going to be sharing whatever you're learning with. Now, the reason for that is simple. Because as you're doing that, you're going to be getting feedback from the people who are going to be validating the efficacy of the information that you have, of the knowledge that you have. That would increase your confidence in the knowledge that you have, in the insight that you have, because you can now test it with people in the community that you're constantly sharing your knowledge with. You're going to hear people say, this really is what I need at this moment. You're going to hear people say, how did you know I'm going through this? You're going to hear people say, wow, I can remember what you said the other day. It totally transformed me. And this is not just at the moment when you said it. This is long after you said it. So you're going to feel like, whoa, I never knew that really touched you. So the more you get that sort of feedback, the greater your confidence becomes. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter seriously how that your life may be going at that moment. You know, the more you are able to touch people's lives and the more they're able to give you that feedback, the more you're going to increase your confidence for your subject is going to increase, and that will impact greatly on your own personal confidence. Okay, so that is that about you know gathering, organizing, and spreading knowledge, and that's just one of the three things that you've got to do in order for you to become confident. Now, the second thing you've got to do in order for you to become confident, the other thing you've got to really focus on is for you to find out, and this one has two parts. You have to find out what irritates you the most in the human experience. I wonder if someone is writing. I wonder if someone is typing in the chat. You've got to find out what irritates you the most in the human experience. What irritates you the most? For me, I don't like it because I'm a leadership coach. I don't like it when people are really not properly led. I don't like it when people are driven by the love of power rather than the power of love. Okay, people are saying their battery is low. Really sorry about that. You guys are waiting for the recorded video. Oh my God. All is well. The recorded video is premium content. I hope you guys know that. Okay, so let's keep moving. So the idea that, so I'm accepting people into the masterclass at the same time. So that's why you guys are seeing I'm breaking up. So what I was saying is that there are two parts to the second thing I wanted to do in order for you to gain confidence. So the first part is you to find out what really irritates you the most about the human experience. And because this is a masterclass, I'm not just going to say it. I'm going to ask you guys questions, and I'm going to check in the chat section. I'm going to check in the chat section for your responses. I've just shared with you guys what irritates me about the human experience. So would you guys now share with me what irritates you the most about the human experience? That's just one part of the second thing I think you should be doing in order for you to be able to gain confidence. So let me ask you the question: what irritates you the most about the human experience? Someone's point of view might be ignorance. Another person might say indecency. Another person might say dishonesty in politics. Another person, so I'm just trying to give you ideas of how short it can be. Another person might say malpractice. Another person might say office politics. Another person might say youthful exuberance. Another person might say, promiscuity amongst young people. So I'm giving you ideas. So mention just one or two things that give you the greatest concern in the human experience. I'm waiting for the comments. I'm waiting. Yeah, Temita, your trust, Ajayi, disloyalty. Good. Disloyalty. That's wonderful. Eita, your flourisher, insincerity, Mrs. Tolo Ashiro, dishonesty. Wells, Einome Akidoe, I hate seeing people think less of what they could become. I wish we had time for you guys to be talking about these things. Adeboye Samuel said lack of values. Wonderful. Okay. Jeremiah. Oh, Jeremiah, I don't know how to pronounce your other name. I hope you will teach me. All forms of malpractices. Wonderful. Wonderful. All forms of malpractices. Wonderful. All right, great. So that is it exactly. So let's keep moving. For those of you who are yet to submit, you can actually submit right now. So why do you need that? I'm going to tell you guys a story in order to illustrate it. Some of you are always waiting. You're like, sir, I'm not confident. I'm not confident. And I'm like, okay, you don't need confidence. You don't even need to kill your fear of public speaking in order for you to be able to speak with so much passion and so much confidence. Why? Let me give you an example. This is totally imaginary, okay? So just follow me. Now let's imagine, and this can happen to a man, but let's imagine that there is a lady around you. A lady around you, she's so quiet. You also understand why I'm using a lady as an example. Feminists in the house, I'm not trying to annoy you, and I'm not trying to trample upon the rights of women, okay? I am, even though I'm not a feminist, I am for the value of women. I value women a lot. I think they are priceless, and I even celebrate them more than I do celebrate men. And I'm not trying to elevate them above men. So I just need to say that in order for you to know I'm very sensitive about this matter. So let me give the example. So imagine that there is a lady, she's so quiet. In fact, let's say she's an introvert. She never looks for anybody's trouble. But let's say that you are determined to actually look for trouble, and you trouble her and trouble her and trouble her over and again. And she wants you for the first week, she wants you for the second week, she wants you for the third week, she wants you for the fourth week, she wants you for the fifth week, she wants you for the sixth week, she wants you for a whole month, 2 months, for 3 months, for 4 months, she wants you. I can assure you that one day you're going to push her to the wall, she's going to bounce back, and when she bounces back, she's going to deliver to you the history of your life in 30 seconds with perfect oratory. She's not going to stutter. Why? The simple reason is she's been pushed to the wall. You've irritated her so much that she's got to react. She's gonna talk nonstop. If people come around who knew her before then, if people would come around who knew her before then, say, really, like Jane, sorry about any Jane in the house, Jane, really, what really is getting you fed up? Sorry, take it easy, take it easy. Jane is gonna say, I'm not gonna take it easy. In fact, she's not even gonna say it that way. She's gonna say it in a very irritating manner. You would know that she had become so annoyed, and and she would say, "Don't talk, like leave me. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk. I've been wanting him all this while, but it would never, or she would never actually heed my warning. So today, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk. Now, the reason I said that is very simple. Do you notice something about that? The idea is that here is someone who naturally wouldn't react when annoyed, but because the person had been annoyed enough, she had to respond. She had to respond because she's been annoyed enough. She had to respond with, with a lot of passion. She wouldn't care what people would think of her while she was responding. What would matter is for her to solve the problem of the person who had been pestering her life at that very moment. So I'm sure you guys are getting what I'm saying exactly. So the point here is this: you have to be so annoyed about something in the human experience, like some of the things that you guys have written about: disloyalty, dishonesty, people, valuing themselves lesser than really lesser than really what they are worth. All of those kind of things that really annoy you when you see it happening. Not in, you are not annoyed about the people, but you are annoyed about the very fact that that is happening to the people. What that does for you is that you are so irritated about this thing in the human experience, like ignorance, like disloyalty, like, the kind of terrorism that happens, the kind of corruption that happens in the nation, that you are so irritated about it. And here is the key phrase: you can't just keep calm. You can't just keep calm. So for me, whenever I'm talking about public speaking, I am so irritated about the very fact that people would desire to improve themselves cannot find, the opportunity to improve themselves. And I want to provide the opportunity. So I do everything within my capacity, to kill that very idea. I'm so irritated by the fact that people think that the way for them to kill their fear of speaking is to actually, target killing their fear of speaking. So that's why I speak with so much passion on that. You can see I'm still talking about just confidence, and we have 4 more to go. So that's the first part of that. Now let's get on to the second part of that. You need to find something you're super excited about. Something you're super excited about, a solution. Okay, for me, This masterclass is a solution that I've created for people, writers, speakers, leaders, entrepreneurs, thinkers who really want to be able to express themselves with mastery, whether they are writing or speaking or giving a business speech, or whether they are leading a team, or they're even just thinking about ideas that are innovative and inventive. The way to express themselves, I am so passionate about what this masterclass stands for. It is why I cannot keep calm. You have to be so excited about something, about a solution, that you just cannot keep calm. Okay, so I have a story for that, but I will spare you that. Maybe later on in the masterclass, I will tell you guys that story, because it will help you really understand what I'm saying, because I've got to run to other parts. So I've told you, in order for you to kill your fear of public speaking, or in order for you to gain confidence, do not chase after gaining confidence. Rather, focus on number one, gathering, organizing, and spreading knowledge. Number two, get uh, find out what irritates you the most about the human experience, and then find a solution that excites you so much so that you just cannot keep calm. Number three is this: commit yourself to serving a group of people as their leader. Commit yourself to serving a group of people as their leader. Commit yourself to serving a group of people as their leader. I studied biochemistry in my university days. I actually had my first degree in the Federal University of Technology, Akure, in Ondo State, Nigeria. So at FUTA, in 400 level, in FUTA, almost every course is a 5-year course. Almost every discipline would have you, study for like 5 years. So I was studying biochemistry, and and we went for industrial training in my 4th year. So it was the practice of the university that when you will be returning in your first semester of your final year, you would do an industrial training seminar presentation, just to give an idea that you actually gained a lot from your industrial work experience. So I can remember that before then, since I was in 200 level, I had been training writers and speakers and leaders, back in the Federal University of Technology, Korea back then. And they used to call me Leader David, Leader David. Then they did not call me coach. They called me leader. So I can remember that, the younger ones, the lower level students would always want to come watch the higher level students make their presentation, their seminar presentation. You understand? So it turned out that, I had a very faulty laptop. How many of you have ever used a laptop that you have to constantly plug into a power source in order for you to be able to use the laptop? As soon as the laptop is disconnected from the power source, whether there is a shake of the cable or of the power pack, the laptop trips off immediately. That was the kind of laptop I was using back then in final year. And it was a laptop that took eternity to boot. I exaggerate, you understand, right? So I want to stay relaxed so that I can tell you the story very well. Okay, Temitayo said she's using such a. Okay, Temitayo said, is it she or he? She's using such a laptop right now. She's preparing for a seminar. Sorry about that, Temitayo. All right, so maybe you can relate very well with my story. So it turned out that, it was very difficult really, for me to be able to get my seminar presentation ready. And lots of expectations were on me, and they were like, wow, coach, we are going to come watch you speak. When are you going to be making your presentation? I told them about the day. Long story short, it turned out that a night before the seminar presentation, my slides were not ready. In fact, my contents were not very ready, and there was no power in school. So I was so discouraged. I went back home. But there was something I did because of the expectations that people had already placed on me. I had no choice than to stay overnight and write out almost everything I was going to put on my slides the next day. So I wrote out almost everything and recorded everything into an audio recorder. And then I listened over and again while I fell asleep that night. I plugged my earpiece and listened over and again to the entire content of what I was going to be delivering the next day. So the next morning, I woke up, got into the bedroom, and I was still playing, the recording I did a night before. I was still playing it over and again. I was at particular points, I would stop it and I would try to recite almost everything. Okay, so I quickly got to school the next morning, and I was so blessed. I actually found a place where I could plug my laptop and try to complete my slides, but I couldn't. Okay, but I kept on practicing with what I had written down, and I kept on listening to the recording that I had made. Okay, while I was in the hall and my colleagues had started to present, I was still putting together my slides. So fast forward, it was my turn, and I had just finished putting together my slides and sent my slides to the student who was actually uploading the slides into the PowerPoint presentation into the computer that they were using for the projection. And then he actually slotted, and I started to present. Now, the presentation time was 7 minutes. That was the limit. In fact, there were some people who presented before me that as soon as they got to the 3rd minute of their presentation, the lecturers got super tired of them and just told them, go to your conclusion. But I later found out, later on, far much after after the seminar presentation, when I was invited to lecture lecture students who were, in lower levels than me. When I was invited to come lecture them, it was then that the lecturer mentioned to me that instead of 7 minutes, I actually spent 10 minutes. And the lecturers were willing to listen to me for 10 long minutes, while some other of my colleagues only presented 3 minutes, 3 minutes rather, and they were not allowed to continue. They were just told to hasten to their conclusion. So what was the difference? Okay, let me tell you what really happened. When I was done with the presentation, everybody, the lecturers were commending me, the students were applauding me. There was no correction that the lecturers gave to me at all. And so the students were applauding, the lecturers were commending. The first lecturer who stood up said, look at the way he's dressed. I'm scoring him 5/5 for that reason. The next lecturer stood up, and said, go back to his slides. And then, whenever students are told, go back to his slides, their minds begin to beat, begin to race. My mind was racing until I heard the comment from the lecturer. No comment of commendation, of condemnation, but of commendation. The lecturer said, I want all of you to learn from this presentation. Look at the way the slides are made. And then he sat. Everybody was clapping. The lecturers were commending. They almost forgot to ask me questions until the coordinator said, at least let's ask some questions. And then they just phrased 2 questions and threw them to me very nicely. And I answered them without stress. And I was done answering, and they were still celebrating. Students were clapping. Lecturers were commending. They were like, wow, this is such a fantastic presentation. Now, there was no expression of happiness or sadness on my face. My face was just blank, and I just bowed my head a bit. Until the lecturer was seated very close to the students who were seated behind the lecturers. The lecturer was there just right in front of the students, said, at least smile. And then I raised my upper lip a bit, and everybody clapped, and the next student was called up, and I walked down the stage. How I did not miss my step that day, I still cannot fathom. But what really gave me that confidence to present? Very simple. What gave me that confidence was because I did not present to my lecturers that day. It was because there were a lot of people who had so high an expectation on me. And that goes back to the 3rd thing I think you need to do in order for you to gain confidence in speaking. Okay, the 3rd thing you need to do, as I told you earlier, is to commit yourself to a group of people, to serve in a group of people as their leader. For me, I was interested in serving the people who I have been modeling public speaking and writing and leadership for on that day. I did not want to let them down. I wanted to give them inspiration. I wanted to show them by example that they too could do something amazing when it would be their turn. In fact, I was the only student who welcomed other students that were in lower level to that presentation on that day. So I presented not to my lecturers, but to my colleagues and to those people who were even below me in, in the academic level. So do you see what happens when you commit yourself to serving a group of people as their leader? They will place a high expectation over you. And do you know what? We all grow by rising to expectations. When you rise to the high expectations that people have set for you, you stretch yourself, you rise to the high expectations. And then when you get to that place, then they shoot up the expectations again. And then you do the work and you rise beyond that expectation. And then they shoot up the expectation again. And then you do the work and you rise up to that expectation. And then they shoot up the expectations again. And then you do the work to rise up to that expectation. That is the way we grow. But a lot of people are denying themselves the opportunity to grow because they're not committing themselves to that sort of thing. They are not willing to stretch. They're not willing to get people to quiz them and ask them questions that will send them digging and searching for answers that are deeper and deeper than they can immediately, find. What has really improved me so much? What has improved me so much, trust me, is the very fact that I've been helping people to grow as speakers and writers and leaders and entrepreneurs and thinkers all these years. It is not because I've been reading tips on public speaking. I do actually, but that's not the reason. The reason is because I'm more concerned about helping other people to become better at speaking than I'm interested in making myself a better public speaker. So I hope you get the idea. So if you must gain confidence, stop chasing after, killing your fear of speaking. Stop even chasing after confidence. What should you rather chase after? Chase after gathering, organizing, and spreading knowledge. Chase after finding what irritates you the most about the human experience, and then find out a solution that really excites you so much that you just cannot keep calm. And then number three, ensure that you commit yourself to serving a group of people as their leader. So I want to ask you the question: would you be willing to commit yourself after today's session to serving a group of people as their leader? So if it's a yes, type it in the comment section, and then I would reserve the rest of the other stuff to the next session of the International Masterful Speakers Masterclass, which is going to be on Friday. And I would say to you guys, see, you can actually be a part of this if you make payment into the masterclass. So for those of you who are here, you're like, oh, I cannot afford it. No, you can. You can actually start by making a payment, in installments. You can start that way. You get a point. So wonderful. So now let me quickly tell you guys the 3 tenets of masterful public speaking. So number 1 is a masterful speaker is deeply thinking. A masterful speaker is deeply thinking. So I want you guys to write that. I've seen your comments. Thank you, everybody. A masterful speaker is deeply thinking. Number 2, a masterful speaker is frankly speaking. And then number 3, a masterful speaker is audience lifting. A masterful speaker is audience lifting. Number 1, a masterful speaker is deeply thinking. Number 2, a masterful speaker is frankly speaking. And then number 3, a masterful speaker is audience lifting. You see, each of these things are very, very deep. Okay, but I will just brush over them today. Now, let's talk about the deep thinking nature of a masterful speaker. I often think that a masterful speaker has what is called the 4-dimensional mind. Number 1, the first dimension of the masterful speaker's mind is that of the masterful speak of the breadth of the masterful speaker's mind. So I really appreciate all of you who are typing. So the first thing is the breadth of the masterful speaker's mind. I like to think about it this way. If the mind of every normal human being is the size of a teacup, the the mind of a masterful speaker, the size of a masterful speaker's mind is the size of an Atlantic Ocean, of the Atlantic Ocean. So the masterful speaker's mind is so vast. Now, how does the masterful speaker really achieve this vastness of his or her mind? The way the masterful speaker does it really is by, you know, gathering knowledge, organizing knowledge, and spreading knowledge, just as I told you guys earlier. But that's not just all to the masterful speaker's mind. The second thing is the length of the masterful speaker's mind. The masterful speaker is a student of history, loves history so much, and then is really aware of the present moment. So that the masterful speaker is equipped with the hindsight, the hindsight, you know, hindsight, backside sort of history, and then the insight of awareness of the current moment, and then the foresight that would enable the masterful speaker to be able to forecast. And that's why a masterful speaker is very, very adequate in profiling solutions that if you would just take, your life is going to be totally transformed, because a masterful speaker is so deeply thinking and has a length to the masterful speaker's mind. Now, the masterful speaker not only has a breadth to his or her mind, not only has a length to his or her mind, but the masterful speaker also has a depth to his mind or his or her mind. A masterful speaker has a depth, like there is a deepness, a profundity of the masterful speaker's mind. So the masterful speaker's mind has this profundity, this depth. Now, let me ask you, let me tell you this. If you are going to get precious stuff, you're going to use a drilling machine to drill into the surface of the earth. But if you're going to drill the human experience, the drilling device for getting precious stuff, mining out precious stuff from the human experience is questions. The power of questions. Questions help you to dig very deeply into the human experience. Later on in the masterful in this class, we're going to be showing you how to prepare for your most memorable speaking engagement, and we're going to be showing you how to use the power of questions to analyze your audience so that you can totally understand your audience. I'm sure most of you have been told over and again, you need to understand your audience if you're going to be an amazing speaker. But then they never tell you what exactly you're supposed to understand about your audience. So definitely, we're going to be showing you that in module 2, how to prepare for your most memorable speaking engagement. Now, I've told you about the depth to your mind. So I've told you that the masterful speaker's mind has a breadth to it, a breadth, or you can say the width to it. The masterful speaker's mind also has a length, from the past to the present to the future, like long into the future. And that's why up till this day, we still have the thoughts of Aristotle with us. That's why we still hear the voice of Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream today that one day my 4 children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. Okay, so you get a point. But the masterful speaker not only has that length to his or her mind, but he also has the depth to his or her mind, because he's able to think very deeply and profoundly, almost like a philosopher. But not only that, the masterful speaker's mind also, the masterful speaker has a height to his mind or her mind. So the masterful speaker has a high mind. Now, if you are a Christian, I'm sure that you hate the idea of high-mindedness, because that means pride. That's not what I'm talking about. I am only talking about the height of aspiration in the heart of a masterful speaker. So a masterful speaker is one that has a height to their mind. So that's still These are all the things that you need in order for you to be deeply thinking. You need to have all of these dimensions to your mind. You need to have the width to your mind. You need to have the length to your mind. You need to have depth to your mind, and you need to have like a height to your mind. Now, I've just quoted from the Martin Luther King Jr. speech, "I Have a Dream," which is one of the most popular speeches ever delivered in history. I have a dream. Who here is not aware of the speech "I have a dream"? Who here has never heard about the "I have a dream" speech? If you've ever heard about the "I have a dream" speech, type "I have." Type "I have." If you've ever heard about it, type "I have." Okay. Okay, wonderful. So I just wanted to know that you guys really know it. So it's very popular. Now think about how aspirational Martin Luther King Jr. was in that speech. Think about how that he was able to raise the hopes of all the Negro slaves that were really being oppressed by the Southern segregation that was in America back in the day in the 1960s. It was able to raise their hope. It was able to tell them, go back to Alabama, go back to all the countries from where you have come, knowing that one day peace shall reign, freedom shall reign. Let freedom reign from every hill to every mountain, from every, and several other places. I can't remember the content of that talk very well. But the classic example of the highness of hope in the heart of a masterful speaker is really what you find in that, mostly demonstrated in that talk, "I Have a Dream." If you've never watched it, I really want to encourage you that after today's masterclass, go see it. It's actually on YouTube. You can find it and you will love to listen to it. Once again, it's a fantastic talk. So I'm trying to say that a masterful speaker is deeply thinking, has that quality of being deeply thinking. So that's the first tenet of masterful public speaking. So if you really want to be a masterful speaker, then you need to commit yourself to being deeply thinking. You need to commit yourself to being deeply thinking. But that's not all. You also need to commit yourself to being frankly speaking. I've always told my masterful speakers that if you are not truthful, you are not masterful. If what you're saying is not credible, then it's not powerful. We live in an age where people are always, in order for them to inspire others, they make those other people expire. In order for them to encourage others, they discourage them. See, you don't need to tell people, see, you're more beautiful and more handsome and more amazing than you think you are, in order for you to get them to do amazing things. The wonder of life is not, you are amazing, therefore you can do amazing things. Okay, I like to tell the story of my friend Shola Dodger. But a few years ago, we were in the University of Ibadan. We were organizing this class for writers and poets. And Shola Dodger, being an amazing poet back in those days in the University of Ibadan, was one of the facilitators for that event. Actually, he was the very first facilitator who took a session. So it was to teach us something about creative expressions. And so he started his session by reading a beautiful poem to us. As soon as he was done reading this poem, oh my, you needed to see the kind of reaction he got. People loved the poem. And as soon as, he got that reaction from people, it was like, wow. That reminded him of something. So he said, looks like someone's, okay. So he said that people often approach him and say to him that, Shola Dodger, you don't look like your poems. Your poems are so beautiful. But when we meet you, it's so amazing that you don't really look like your poems. So that was quite insulting to Shola Dodger, really. So they're trying to tell Shola Dodger that, Shola Dodger, you don't really look as amazing as your poems. But that shows something, that you don't need to look amazing in order for you to speak amazingly. You don't need to look amazing in order for you to sound amazing. You get a point? You don't need to look amazing in order for you to be able to help other people to be amazing. So that is going to be my encouragement to you. So do not lie to people. In 2016, the Oxford dictionaries had their word for the year to be post-truth. We live in a post-truth world. Everyone is trying to hold by their truth. So if you tell somebody something, they would say, well, in your own perspective, that is true, but it's not true for me. So that started happening in 2016. It's the world of postmodernism. It's like the lie has killed the truth, or the lie has stripped the truth off the apparel of the truth and made the truth in shame to hide. And the lie has put on the garment of truth and then parades the street of the world in absolute pomp and circumstance, celebrated by people, and is then celebrated as the truth. That's what society really wants. That's what society values. Lie to people, they will ail you. But as masterful speakers, our job is not to join the people who are deceiving others. Our job really is to go find the lie, kill the lie, get the garment of truth, go to the wilderness and find the truth where the truth is hiding ashamed, and clothe the truth back in its proper apparel with the way that we have been able to develop ourselves, with our ability to express ourselves clearly and confidently and creatively and consistently and credibly, and to be able to share the truth with people around us in the most compelling way possible, so that people will start hating the lie and start loving the truth. So in order for you to be a masterful speaker, you have to be deeply thinking, number one. Number two, you have to be frankly speaking. You need to tell people the truth. You need to tell people it is what it is. You get a point. But I must warn you, there are people who tell the truth in a way that kills people's spirit. A masterful speaker is not like that. A masterful speaker is frankly speaking, but yet audience lifting. A masterful speaker doesn't spit out vitriolic words that tear people's hearts apart. A masterful speaker doesn't spew out acidic words that burn hearts into death, that crumple and that cripple dreams. A masterful speaker speaks truth in the most amazing way, so that rather than killing people's drive and morale and spirit, the masterful speaker speaks frankly in a way that is audience lifting. So a masterful speaker is deeply thinking, frankly speaking, and yet audience lifting. So a masterful speaker is deeply thinking, frankly speaking, and yet audience lifting. So in order for you to be able to lift the audience, you see, I'm actually rushing because of time. I want us to really finish this session very soon. Then I'll take your questions and then we'll call it tonight. So in order for you really to be deeply thinking, frankly speaking, and yet audience lifting, what you've got to do to be audience lifting is to what you've got to do in order for you to be audience lifting is for you to, I'm trying to concentrate because I'm getting distracted. What you've got to do in order for you to be frankly speaking is for you to target at lifting up your audience intellectually and then emotionally. Because you see, whenever you step before any audience, they are looking Sister Lewa Shiru, thank you. Whenever you step before an audience, they're actually looking for entertainment and they are looking for enlightenment. But let me tell you something, except you're a comedian, people are looking for enlightenment first before entertainment. In other words, they want you to feed them with knowledge and then they want you to have fun while you are feeding them with knowledge. They want to have fun while you're feeding them with knowledge, and they want you to be having fun, because when you are not having fun, they cannot have fun. So I think the reason many times we don't have fun while we're speaking to other people is because we're so concerned. We're like, would they like me? Would they, am I qualified enough to speak to them? And I'm like telling you, nobody is going to ask you for a certificate, for you to tender your certificate before you can make them feel good. Nobody's going to say, Wow, you're making me feel so good. Like your talk is so enlightening and so exciting. Enjoying your talk so well. Like who gave you the qualification to make, for you to really be able to fill me with so much insight and to make me have a nice time listening to you? Nobody's going to say, where's your PhD? Nobody's going to say, where's your first degree? Nobody's going to say, where's your O levels? Like, nobody's going to say that. In fact, people are going to be amazed if you say, oh, you know what, I am not really a graduate, but I think I've just committed myself to growth. What is disappointing is when you parade your qualification before people and say you've got a PhD, and say you've got a master's degree, and say you've got a first degree, and say you've got an O levels and stuff like that, and then you fumble and you are not able to deliver to them the enlightenment and the excitement that they need to get from your talk. So from today, stop thinking about all of those things. Nobody is going to ask you for all of those things. See, what you need is just for you to target, not having fun, but to target, that the people in your audience are having fun while you're talking to them. Why am I expending myself so much? Why am I really doing all that I'm doing? Why am I telling you stories? Why am I trying to connect with you with as much energy as possible? Because I want you to have fun. I'm not so concerned about myself, because if I'm going to make you have fun, then I'm going to do it with fun as well. Because when you're having fun, I'm having fun. And because I'm having fun, you are having fun. So you see, nobody will find you interesting if you're not interested in them. I'm sure you must have heard that before. Nobody's going to find you interesting if you're not interested in them. So be interested in your audience, but then at the same time, make sure you fill them with a lot of knowledge. And that's why you see, I tell my masterful speakers, see, it is good to go down to the level of the people in your audience, but do not keep them there. So don't be overly simple when you're speaking to an audience. Introduce some level of complexity to them, but don't be too complex. Learn how to simplify without being a simpleton. Let me spell simpleton for you guys. Simpleton. Simpleton. I want to go research more on what it means to be a simpleton. There are many people today, society is telling you, be as simple as possible. But I have never known a Nobel Prize winner or somebody who won the Nobel Prize for literature, or someone who won an essay competition for writing very, very simply. I've never known anyone who won a speaking competition who did not have a level of sophistication in their expression. Being overly simple is working against you. So today is the day when you say, yeah, I want to be able to simplify whatever I'm saying to my audience, but I don't want to be too simple. Because if you're too simple, nobody is going to take you seriously. So Mrs. Tolu Ashiru said I should spell simpleton again. Simpleton. 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 It's amazing how that new words open new worlds to us. Do not deny your audience of a new word. Make them love new words. In fact, let me tell you something I often tell people, particularly when I go to speak at a secondary school, because I know that in a secondary school, or for those of you who are outside the country, because we have people joining us from Gambia and other countries today. So for those of you who are outside the country, a secondary school is like a high school. Okay, so when I go to speak to people who are in high school or in secondary school, I tell them that do not be afraid of what you call big words, because there are really no big words. And I'll ask them the question: if you think there are big words, if you think there are big words, I want to ask you the question: do you think hippopotamus is a big word? And then they will say, no. Then I will say, okay, you see, the issue here is this: there are no big words, there are only unfamiliar words. Even if words appear to be big, you don't run away from them. Hippopotamus, by your definition of a big word, is a big word. Hippopotamus. Who can spell hippopotamus if they did not sing it as a rhyme back in nursery school? I can tell you, a little kid can spell hippopotamus. Hippopotamus is not so easy to spell. So what am I saying? Do not spare your audience of a complex word. Just be willing to really explain those complex words to them. So that way you'll be able to reach them where they are and then raise them to an entire new level. So that when they come across that word somewhere else, you would have introduced it to them and they will be able to flow in that conversation. They'll be grateful to you that they learned it from you. See, there is so much more to cover, but at this moment, I want all of you to go into the chat section and type from today forward. I am a deeply thinking, frankly speaking, an audience lifting, masterful speaker. From today forward, I am a deeply thinking, frankly speaking, an audience lifting, masterful speaker. If you do have questions, begin to get ready your questions because I'm going to get to taking your questions very soon. So I want all of you to type right now, engage the I am a deeply thinking, frankly speaking, and yet audience lifting, masterful speaker. So, yeah, I'm seeing the submissions. From today forward, I'm a deeply thinking, frankly speaking, an audience lifting, masterful speaker. So you guys begin to prepare your questions. If you do have a question, type the word question in the comment section. I'll be able to take perhaps 3 questions. It's been a very long day for me. I've been here and there. So let's do that. Thank you so much. I've seen your comments. So if you have a question, type the word question in the chat. Just type question. If you have a contribution, type contribution, the word contribution. If you have nothing, maybe a question or a contribution. If you don't have a question or a contribution, type nothing. Just at least type something, either nothing or contribution or question. Then as soon as you type that, if you have a question or a contribution, I will call on you, you'll unmute yourself, and then you'll be able to speak to the entire house. If you also have a comment, feel free to type comment, and then we'll be able to take you. Baki Amzad, I'm happy to see that. Masterful speaker, Olumofe. Masterful speaker, Ozokolo Esther. Thank you. Happy to know that. Masterful speaker, Tolo Ashiru. Masterful speaker, Jeremiah. Yeah. Masterful speaker, Olufemi Josephine. Masterful speaker, Temi Tayo Trust Jay. Masterful speaker, Tolu. Okay, good. Now, the rest of the masterclass is highly practical. I hope you guys know. You guys are going to be having 3 practice exercises that will totally transform you into a masterful public speaker, I can assure you. And then the rest of the content for the masterclass include, okay, masterful speaker Olufemi Josephine, do you want to say something? Masterful speaker Josephine. Okay, so I want to tell you guys that the rest of the masterclass is going to be led by our other trainers in the Masterful Speakers Masterclass. They're going to be international trainers from within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria, several other countries like Canada, South Africa, Ghana, Cameroon, Switzerland, and those other countries like that. So we're going to be led on those. On Friday, we're going to be learning how to master spoken English, the dynamics of fluency and polish, how to speak with fluency and polish. We're going to be having a diction coach come train us on diction. So if you really want to improve your diction, definitely you don't want to miss it. Remember, it is not going to be free access like you got this evening. It's going to be a paid class. It's only going to be for the people who have paid for the class. Okay, and then on next week, Wednesday, we're going to come back to class and we're going to have a training on how to prepare for your most memorable speaking engagement. How do you prepare? How do you analyze the audience? How do you engage with your event host and several other things like that? Wonderful. Then after that, we're going to get to how to get and sustain speaking engagements. How can you get speaking invitations very consistently? In fact, today I just got another speaking engagement to speak at University of Ibadan. So almost every day, people are reaching out. I'm going to be traveling by next week to a nearby state. I'm going to be speaking there at 2 events on the same day. So how does that happen? How do I consistently get speaking invitations? We're going to teach you that so that you can start your journey as a speaker, as an entrepreneur, as a writer, as a leader, who is using public speaking to really skyrocket your career. And then after that, we're going to get back on Friday for the penultimate class, and we're going to learn how to host your own events, how to create a platform, how to host events. Even if you don't have the money, how can you do all of those kind of things? We're going to teach you that. I won't be the one teaching you. There will be other experts who will come to teach you. And definitely, I too will be lending my voice to that. And then finally, we're going to teach you the most unexplored, the most radical key to the mastery of public speaking and the mastery of anything at all. The most unexplored, most radical key to the mastery of speaking. And many other, people do a lot of things. They even attend master classes. But really, why don't they grow explosively? It's because they are not doing one thing, just one thing. And that's what we always wrap up the masterclass with. Okay, so don't miss that. It's going to be a fantastic one. And then we're going to be having practice exercises. It's a highly practical class where you're going to speak on subjects that we're going to give to you, very strategic subjects that will establish you into a speaker. And there will be awards and certificates towards the end of the masterclass. So lots of value. And let me tell you this, after you take this masterclass once, you are not going to pay for any of the masterclasses anymore. You can see there are some other people who have taken the masterclass before now, but they are coming back to gain even the more from the masterclass without paying anything. So you pay once and you have access to as many of our international speakers as much as possible. So that is just that about that. And, just in case you don't have so much of the money and you're like, oh, I want to give this a try. So just talk to me and say, Coach, what amount can I start with? And then I'll ask you, what amount can you start with? Then you can make a deposit and you will not miss any of the sessions. And let me tell you, the sessions are recorded. So you don't have to be afraid of missing out on anything, but you have to be in class. That's very important because that's part of what we consider in order for you to get your certificate. So we record all the sessions. Today's session, I think I'm feeling generous. I'm going to share it so that you can go through it over and again. So yeah, I think now I can take questions. I'm going to call on the person with the first question here, Sir Olujide Jacob Olumofe. You can unmute yourself, sir, and shoot your question.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome,
for this
sir.
great privilege.
It's a pleasure always.
So my question is, now that we are in post-modernist age, whereby
Yes, sir.
most audience prefer the lie they want to embrace what is not genuine, which is very obvious in our society today.
Yeah.
What more thing do you think we that are coming with genuinity, that we assist this society and the world at large to grow meaningfully, and even our coming generations to have meaningful generations through meaningful existence through we, this generation now. So what more thing do you think we can do to really suppress people coming with lies and the wide acceptance of lies?
That's a very fantastic question. I'm just going to answer it right away. Now, what we've got to do is to know that, first of all, that there will be a bit of market resistance to us, because we are not going to be appealing to the things that, those people who are liars are going to be appealing to. It's very easy to believe a lie, because lies are often tied around things that people want. People want to hear. People want to hear, I started my poultry business with just a feather. That's funny. That's what a vice president likes to say in the organization. People like to hear that, like, really? People like something that is going to wow them. Like, really? You started with the feather? Wow. That means I have hope. Stuff like that. So they like that. But there is a book I would like us to read. Adam Grant wrote a book that I've been reading for a while. The title of the book is Give and Take. The idea is that if you're starting out and you're a giver and you are very generous and you are truthful, you may not start out at the top, because society rewards people that are not very genuine at the beginning. You understand? So Adam Grant said when he did a survey that he found that people who are the lower rung of the ladder in any profession are those who are givers, those who are genuine, those who are not going to lie, those who are not going to cut corners, those who are not going to try to exploit people. They are at the lower rung. They are struggling. They are not going to use gimmicks to market their stuff. They're not going to call something what it's not. So for that reason, people would not really they will not feel the vibe of what they are doing. So we need to know that for us, it might take a bit of time. But the truth is this, as someone said, truth and time go hand in hand. Give it enough time, the truth will be revealed. Today, someone was just chatting with me. She paid for a class. She paid for a training on writing, and she's very, very frustrated right now because the coach doesn't have time for her. And she was chatting with me. She didn't sign up for a class with me, but she was chatting with me, and I was able to share some stuff with her. And, she wanted some more. Now she's totally frustrated by the lies that were told her, the promises that were made to her by this ingenuine coach. And now she's seeking the real thing. People, after they've tasted the lie, they find it very bitter. It's a sweet, bitter experience for them. It's sweet, first of all, when they get into it, but over time, it turns bitter. But for us, in a sense, we wanted to see how that we can make the truth not to be as bitter as it is. Now, that does not mean we're going to take away the bitterness of the truth, but, well, even if they taste the bitterness of the truth at first, it's going to resolve ultimately in the sweetness of their lives, and they will seek it more and more. And somebody I want us all to check out is Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson has been superly criticized over and again, but the world is hailing him right now because over the years, he's not backed down from telling the truth. And in fact, he often says it, tell the truth, never lie, as part of his principles. And this is not a man who is religious in any way, but I think of recent is becoming kind of religious. So I would just say that faith, Faith, could you please unmute? Could you please mute yourself? So I would say Faith, hello, Faith. I'm trying to mute her. Okay, I've been able to mute her. So the point I'm making is that that we just have to embrace that and to not be tired of telling the truth. Over time, people it's little by little. So read the book Give and Take. So Adam Grant was saying that after a while, truth tellers, givers, he said when he surveyed the people at the bottom, he found them to be truth tellers. The people at the middle are the takers, the people who are trying to cut corners and all of that. But the people at the top, surprisingly again, are not the takers, but they are the givers. So it's just a matter of time. Let's say 2, 3 years, and then in your fifth year, you begin to go higher and higher simply because they know you to be a truth teller. But then we have got to put in the hard work, really, to get the truth out as much as possible. Let us speed a lot of truth into the world. Okay, so that's what I would say. Let us speak a lot of truth. People ultimately they would be tired of the lie and they will be seeking the truth. And if you're not speaking it, they wouldn't know that you speak it. That's what I would say. Okay, so somebody else has a question. Sir Olomofe, I wonder if that does for an answer. Okay, Masterful speaker Tolo Ashiru said, so I missed the other 4 C's out of the 5 C's being a masterful speaker. So the other 4 C's, the first C is confidence, the second is clarity, the third is creativity, the fourth is consistency, and the fifth is credibility. We're going to cover those others in the upcoming master classes. I'm going to share in depth, just as I shared with you guys today on confidence. I'm going to share on clarity. I'm going to share on creativity, beautiful thing, creativity. And that's what many of you might need, because some of you are already confident, some of you are already clear, but you need to be able to express yourself with real creativity. How do you need to do that? I'll really show you that practically with some 3 pillars of creativity. Okay, and then consistency is beyond you just showing up. There are many other elements of your speaking and of your writing that would depict professionalism with the idea of consistency. And then the final one is credibility. So yeah, so but Baki Hamzat, could you unmute yourself and shoot your question? Hamzat, over to you, Hamzat.
Yeah, thanks so much for the great introduction, sir.
It's a pleasure.
My question is actually, I want reading books, listening to audios, and making gatherings, which will actually benefit to make a good master speaker, sir.
Thank you. I said gathering knowledge, organizing knowledge, and spreading knowledge. And I was like, the truth is, I said, like the first thing you have to do in order for you to be confident, in order for you to really gain the kind of confidence that you need to actually stand before an audience, since in order for you to really kill your fear of speaking, you have to stop targeting killing your fear of speaking. So I said that what you've got to do really is for you to gather, organize, and spread knowledge. I was even making the point that you can't divorce any of them from the rest of the two. You can't just be gathering knowledge without organizing the knowledge and spreading the knowledge. And you can't just be organizing knowledge without gathering knowledge and spreading the knowledge. Because what would you organize actually? which knowledge would you organize if you're not gathering knowledge? And then you can't just be gathering knowledge, organizing the knowledge without spreading the knowledge, because you wouldn't get a platform to speak. So in order for you to get a platform to speak, you have to be gathering, organizing, and spreading knowledge. You have to be doing the three in order for you to be the deeply thinking, frankly speaking, and audience lifting masterful speaker that you want to be. So Baki, I hope that I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. So I think it's very okay for us to call it a very wonderful day so far in the masterclass. I'm going to go around each of you, and you're going to say a word about how that you found today's class, and we're going to say good night. So let me start from Mrs. Tolu Ashiru over here. Mrs. Tolu Ashiru, unmute yourself and share with us what has the class been like for you today. Uh, we are waiting. Okay. Shall we go to Baki? Okay. This is
This
Tolu is
class
good.
is so wow. To Okay. I said today's class is so wow. It's awesome. Understanding uh, training. I don't even wish to miss the rest. So everything you have taught us today is deep, even at the beginning. So grateful to you, sir. I'm more part to your elbow in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so much. And thank you for investing your resources into the masterclass. So I'm sure you're going to tell your friends so that they too can be a part of this.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Baki Hamzat, what's up? So how did you find the class? Esther should get ready.
Yeah, it's really great to be in here, sir. And the class is really, really, really touching. Like, it's amazing, sir. And I've been open to be in this kind of platform for long, sir. And I'm really happy to be in this platform today.
It's a pleasure,
The class,
Hamzat.
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
go ahead. Go ahead. You were going to say something about the class.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Esther, we're good.
Okay, for me, I found the class quite interesting. Although I was kicked out because of my battery, but I think I
Sorry.
left when we were talking about confidence. Yeah, like we shouldn't be so much focused on just being confident, but we should as in we should be more than confident, right?
Absolutely. You got the main crux of the
Yeah,
class. I wanted to
yeah. So
rise far beyond confidence.
yes. So I wasn't able to complete the other C's, but I hope with God's provision, I'll be able to get up money to attend the next Masterful class.
Absolutely. No worries at all. The rest of the Odysseys will be treated and even far more. So, I mean, it's going to be a fantastic adventure for you. And even imagine you take the class once and you have access to the class over and again. What a beautiful thing that is. So let us go now to Ibrahima Koli. I don't know if I pronounced the name very well. Ibrahima Koli from Gambia. Ibrahima is sending a text. Okay, Ibrahima said, "For the first time, I'm attending such a session, and I must admit that I have greatly benefited a lot from it. You're such a great speaker. That's so kind of you. I'm so happy to hear from you, friend. And it would be so amazing if we could hear your voice. That would be awesome. We are over here in Nigeria and in Ghana and some other parts of, Africa, and we would like to hear your voice. What do you think? Give us the gift of your voice, Ibrahima. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Ibrahima. Hey, yeah. Okay, Ibrahima is kind of mute. So let me get to Saulujide Jacob, and I will get to Jeremiah after Saulujide Jacob.
Thank you so much, sir. Moving
My pleasure,
from
sir.
confidence to competence.
Ha ha
That is
ha.
that is what I can add to it. Um, Let me commend you, sir, and congratulate every participant, every participant, or all the students for this great opportunity that is a life refiner. Thank you, sir.
Wow, very powerful words. Very powerful words, and thank you for those very powerful words
So I
from.
hope I hope my usage of that last word or phrase, life refiner, I hope it will be clear to every mind.
Yeah, I'm sure
You
it will
know,
be.
you know,
Go ahead, sir.
somebody could be having ideas
Mm,
that will benefit the world, but
mm,
may not know how to come out with that idea. Somebody could know how to arrange the idea and may not even know how to speak it out.
mm,
There is this stage frightening or fear to communicate may be affecting somebody. But
mm.
this program is refining one to have a to be competent, and also to have a confidence in oneself that I can do this. I have this thing, I have this information, I have what the world need as a solution to challenges.
Absolutely.
Competence in the refining, in the sense that if I am wake in the mid of the night, that speak on, want you to speak, maybe VOA, call me, or Al Jazeera. We want you to speak to the world on so issue. In order to get, I'll be the competence in me, I'll be able to speak and solution will arise. So thank you so much,
Absolutely.
sir.
Absolutely. I like that. And I'm sure that we are all very much on the same page with Sao
Thank you, sir.
Olojide Olomofe. So
Thank you, sir.
let's get to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, what would you say? Jeremiah Kozohor.
Yeah. Name is Jeremiah Kozoho.
Kozohor. What country is that?
Okay, I'm a Nigerian.
Oh,
Nigerian.
awesome. Awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say the putting together of the master class is just amazing because I've been actually impacted. You know, initially when I joined, I was still working. I was at work, so I wasn't really consistent. I didn't really follow at the beginning because I'm actually a very busy person. But since it's something that is always in me, I've always had this knack for public speaking, for that ability to bring your ideas into something presentable and to refine your ideas and to refine your thoughts and bring them out. It has always been a thing I've always struggled with. So with the class, I think I've already gotten, one or two things already, and I'm really excited. And I just want to say
Awesome.
thank you for putting up this masterclass.
It's a real pleasure. And I hope that you will be able to join us for the rest of the class, for the rest of the month, and just it's gonna be fantastic for you. I can assure you. All right. So you can chat me up later in that group. I believe you've joined the group Masterful Speakers Coach. Just chat up the admin there, then now you'll be able to get to me. So awesome. Good to meet you. So
Same here. Thank you.
yeah, Ibrahim Akoli. Mr. Jeremiah, do you are you connected with me? Are you connected with me at on WhatsApp at all, Mr. Jeremiah?
Yes, I joined your group using the
Okay, good.
link. Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's read something from Jeremiah. Sorry, not Jeremiah. Ibrahim Akoli. Ibrahim said, "Can't talk now as my place is noisy. And so someone who loves to write. I write quotes. After watching this, it has indeed increased my appetite to keep up the writing. But this time around, with more convincing ideas. I love the way you write. Oh my God, you're awesome. I would love to join your incoming classes. How do I join the group? Okay, awesome. All you have to do, send me a message here. I'm gonna type my like a direct link into my DM on WhatsApp here so that you guys will might want to follow up, can follow up. I'll type it in the comment section. You can copy it or you can just click on it directly. Okay. So that's it. So you guys can reach me there. You guys can reach me there. Can you see it already? So you can just click it, send me a message. You can take a screenshot of this class right now and then send it to me. So yeah, it's been a fantastic time, friends. I'm going to send a replay to you guys so you can keep watching and you can help to share the replay as well so that people, or what we are going to do is we're going to share the link, you know, to the group and people who join the group will get the replay. So that is it. Awesome. Wonderful. All right. So wonderful to have been with you guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us to this time. Till Friday, next Friday, we're going to be learning how to master spoken English, how to be very fluent. I'm sure that it's going to be a fantastic time. Do have a wonderful night. I remain David Lawal, the Masterful Speakers Coach. Bye. And I will say, keep speaking masterfully.